Hello everybody and welcome to my video getting tidier. I hope you're all well and had a good Saturday. So this was yesterday afternoon. The sun was shining and I decided to spend all the time in the garden. Really just to do some jobs around the garden, get a few things cut back after sort of autumn and winter time. So I leave the cutting back of the garden quite late. But first of all, I needed to get all the washing on the line, because I was convinced by the skies that it was going to get dry. And the good news is it did. I didn't leave it out there too long. Actually, my husband brought it in when it was dry, which was good. Sometimes it's tempting to leave it out overnight and then we just get a bit of rain overnight, or it rains in the morning, and then I get it in and it's wetter than when I put it out. So I got all the washing out on the line in the sunshine, which was good. My husband cleaned all the car, and my daughter was making Lego flowers with a set that she got from Easter, which she was very pleased about. She got that from my sister, which was nice. So after I put all the washing out, you then see a couple of clips that I've done of the garden. So like I said, I leave it quite late into the sort of, well, when it gets to sort of springtime. I don't like to do it too early because of the damage to like insects. And like the little sort of pupae for butterflies and so on, and when bees then sort of are then coming out. So I like to leave it quite late before I clear up leaves and cut back, but now is definitely the time to start that. So there's a couple of areas in my garden that I really need to sort out. So I need to sort out all my herb area, so that's going to be another day, and I also just need to cut everything back. I also talked before about all my wood that I need chopped out. My husband chopped up, and my husband did a little bit of that. But he does get backache, and of course the angle that you need to use a chainsaw at, that can be quite bad on your back. So he cut up a bit though, and I was able to put all that away into the wood store, because I've used a lot of the wood up. So it was good just to get the wood store back stocked up. So I did a little bit of that. You can see on the line, remember I mentioned that little baby grow I found? Actually, my daughter didn't really wear it much because I liked her to wear cotton because she had such severe eczema, so she didn't really wear that little baby grow. But when I found that it had got a mark on, my daughter saw it and thought that was quite cute. So I thought she could just have it for one of her dolls, couldn't she? So yeah, most of this was recorded yesterday, and then today we went out this morning and did a few sort of errands that we needed to run and get a few bits, and we had chips for lunch, which was nice. And then we went to my in-laws. They live right out in the countryside, and we went on this really lovely walk and then had dinner with them. And so because I didn't do any tidying up or cleaning or sorting today, because I was out of the house nearly the whole day, I thought I'd show you a couple of little clips of the walk I went on. It's absolutely stunning, so I hope you enjoy that. Now a couple of updates from my followers. So firstly, I really did laugh at some of the comments about the things that my dad brought round. One person put about, is your dad trying to sabotage you, lol? That really made all of us laugh. So I completely understood what you meant, Judith. We did have a little chuckle about that. He is obviously trying to be considerate and thoughtful, but my husband, honestly, he said, look, all these things, we're trying to get bags and bags out. My husband thinks I'm doing a really good job clearing things, getting rid of things. And then he looks on the little table in the hall, which was previously nearly clear, and suddenly I've got a pile of knickknacks, bits and bobs, etc, etc. And the thing is, I really just don't have the space for bits and bobs. I'm trying to get rid of bits and bobs, but the little rabbit was cute, and yeah, there's a number of bits that I will make use of, so that's good. Someone else, S9573, said that they admit they take everything from the hotels as well, but as a family they always use everything, and sometimes they've seen requests for charities asking for them. That's worth me looking out then for these sort of hand creams and body lotions that I've got. There might be a charity that would be willing to take them. Maybe I could even put them in like some sort of sale. But in future, when we stay at different hotels, I will take everything I'm going to use and I will leave behind the body lotion and moisturiser. Someone else said that they keep things just in case. Bluebird was saying this is exactly what I do. I keep things that I think I'm going to use in the future, which is why the junk drawer has got like random piece of metal in and so on that I think, oh, I might use that in the future. And I think that partly comes from, there's a couple of situations where I got rid of things and then I later regretted getting rid of them, and that's really stuck in my mind. Or just like, you know, you get rid of something and then literally 2 weeks later you then realise you need it. So I'm a little bit wary about that. Tracy Watson, she also said that she really loves decluttering and cleaning now. She says her home always had what she called the lived-in look, and it was so hard to have it as she wanted. And she always feels like she'd been more thoughtful when buying stuff in. That makes you think that now, even with like birthday and Christmas presents that people give you, everything is taking up space. You all have really changed my mindset on all of this. A number of people commented about the church on my last video and said how lovely it was. I agree, it's a Saxon church, so that sort of round tower is quite unusual, but that's because of the age. And there's a sign inside that says our flooring is, you know, not completely even, and that's because people have been walking on these floors for 1,000 years. And you think, my goodness, like what incredible history that tower and, you know, that church, people have been going in there for 1,000 years. Absolutely incredible. Someone said about how you can get, this is Karen, said you can get acrylic junk drawer organisers, but you could actually just make one yourself out of cardboard. The funny thing is that you can't see it now, but years ago I found out about Marie Kondo and about how she has all the little sections. So the reason why I ended up with some lunchbox lids spare is because I used little lunchboxes in those drawers. But because the drawers and that drawer is so full now, you can't actually even see the little lunchboxes. But I promise to sort that out when I get to 2,000 followers. So when I get 2,000 followers, I will be sorting that drawer out. So back to my garden, you can see here that I'm actually cutting things down. As you can see, there's a lot of things there that's dead and needs to be cut back. I was really excited that I moved a pot that had just been sitting in my garden, and I just thought the wind, you know, had blown it there. And when I lifted it up, underneath was a beautiful plant, all flowering, looking lovely, that 2 years ago I bought for 50p. And at the moment, I can't think of the name of it, but you can get homeopathic remedies that are made from it. I need to use one of those flower apps to double check the name, but it's escaped me at the moment. But I was very excited to see it flowering, and flowering under a pot. I guess because it's got a bit warmer, I thought, oh, how lovely that was to see that. I do absolutely love being in the garden, but something that I've never been very good at is getting those layers right. You know, when people have the big beds and they have the tall things at the back and then the medium things and then the short things right at the front. I've never been very good at that. So the other side, I use pots to create that effect, because you can create that easier with pots. This side I sort of feel like is a work in progress. So I've got that sort of red leaf tree right in the far right corner. You can't see it very well because other plants are sort of started taking over things. And then there's a pear tree with blossom. And the delphiniums, I can't believe how the delphiniums have come up. So that's right in the middle of the picture and one to the far right. And the geranium on the left. And you think like it's very, very early spring, but how these plants have already come up. So I have struggled putting the support in for that middle delphinium because it's got so big so quickly. I think it's amazing when you actually start looking at the garden and you realise how soon through winter everything has got buds and everything's growing. I always find that quite amazing. So I also did a little bit of weeding, but otherwise my main aim was just to cut back all the dead growth, and I nearly filled the brown bin up, which I was very pleased about. You can see from the clouds, the weather is a little bit changeable, quite a lot of clouds, but still lots of blue. Can you see the pink flower there? Seeing the blowing in the wind? I was really pleased to see that. And then of course I've got some forget-me-nots as well. My passiflora has gone absolutely crazy. And the other thing that's gone a bit crazy, which I'm not so pleased about, is the next door neighbour. I feel like I'm speaking quietly, but the next door neighbour can't actually hear me. But the next door neighbour, she loves her gardening, but the other side of the fence is kind of a bit of a wild area. And she's got loads of brambles. And what I never realised with brambles, they get under the fence, they go under the ground, and then they sprout up everywhere in my bed. So that's a bit of a shame. So they'd come up all where my passiflora is, etc, etc. So that's a shame. And then also on the left, I've got an apple tree that my dad bought me, which is nice. A couple of other plants that I really like in there. I've got one really big artichoke, which comes up with these beautiful leaves, and a cardoon. I like some of the I like the challenge of growing them from seed. And then actually I've managed to overwinter quite a few, and then I'll probably sell them on Marketplace. Although yesterday I did have a bit of a disappointment after I'd spent the time here cutting back all the dead sort of growth. I went into the greenhouse, and about a month ago I asked my husband if he could put the water on just for once a day, and whatever happens, that he hasn't switched it on. And I should have checked, shouldn't I? But I've lost nearly everything in the greenhouse. So all the plants that I'd overwintered in the greenhouse are now all dead, which is really disappointing. But I guess every cloud has a silver lining. That means I can get all the pots out, dump everything that's in them, and then give the greenhouse a big clean. Because last year I did have a bit of a problem with slugs, which I've never had before, but I think it was just because there was just too much in the greenhouse. So slugs are able to lay eggs and breed in there. I've also got a panel of glass out, which is smashed. So I need to pick all that up and get a new panel of glass. But I did manage to do quite a lot in the garden. And towards the end of the video, I do a couple of photographs so you can see what I've done. But I was quite pleased with the results. The thing is though, with the grass, hasn't the grass got long? So I think the first grass of the season is going to be fairly soon, both for the front garden and for the back garden. So I'm sorry this voiceover is not as long as what it normally has been, when it has been in the last few days. And that's because it's getting quite late here in the United Kingdom. And it's Easter Sunday tomorrow and the clocks go back. So it's going to mean that we're going to have 1 hour less for sleep. I've not been sleeping that well for the last few nights. I keep being woken up throughout the night. Sort of almost like every hour I end up stirring and being woken up. It's just not nice, is it? It makes me feel like when my daughter was really small and she used to wake up so much. And then please do hang on until the end, because you will see the most incredible scenery. Absolutely beautiful. We had a really lovely day. And also there's a couple of bits where you'll see some of the plants that I've grown. So you'll see my little area by my bench, which is looking nice, even though it's quite early. You'll see me do some sorting out of all the logs and the wood. So it's good to clear a bit more space there. So all this theme is about space, isn't it? Making space. And I got rid of some concrete lumps which have been sitting around in the garden, put them in the bin. And then you'll see my artichokes that I talked about, some aquilecias, my mahonia, which is such a beautiful yellow. I'm sure that if you painted that yellow, everyone would say, oh, that's not quite the right colour, but it is. I do a little bit in the lounge, so remember all the stuff that I took out from underneath the settee, underneath the sofa, piles and piles and piles of things that I kind of forgot were there. I've got that piled up in my lounge, so I thought I'm going to go through that, and there was quite a lot of paper to be recycled, which was good. And then right at the very end of the video, you'll see the most incredible scenery. And this is why I always say to people that when they visit England, you know, look, for those of you that live in the United States and live around the world, in different parts of Europe. When you visit England, people will focus on, say, London and a few of our other big cities. But if you want large open skies and absolute beautiful scenery, then Norfolk is a must. And that's where these video clips and photographs have been taken at parts of Norfolk, and we were blessed to see several marsh harriers. So I hope you have all had a really lovely day. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you for your comments. Please keep them coming. I read every single one and thoroughly enjoy them. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!